Hello everyone, my name is Apurva and welcome back to another episode of 100 Days 100 Problems where I solve your Power Apps challenges and turn them into working solutions. This is day 14 and let's take a look at our today's question. I want to create a simple loan system for our preschool. I have an Excel file with two columns, student name and student ID, and an Excel file with three columns, material name, material ID, and availability. I just want to input the ID of the student, ID of the material the student wants to loan, and log that somewhere so I have an overview of all the loaned materials. And when the student brings it back next time, it is available again for the next student, just like a library system. So let's do this. Before we start, don't forget to subscribe to my channel so I can bring more such videos for you. And also stay tuned till the end so I can show you the final look of my app. For this, we need two SharePoint lists, but I'm going to create Excel files first so that we can import those Excel sheets into the SharePoint list. So first, we need a student list, and second, we need a material list. Now, before you import this file, make sure to convert this table, this data into a table so that can be imported. Finally, save your Excel sheet or download it. Now go back to your SharePoint site and click on Upload File and click on the Excel file that you want to import. Then click on Next and create your first list. Similarly, let's create another list. We will do that by importing our Excel file for materials. Now that we have imported both our files in the SharePoint, let's go to Power Apps and connect to that list. First, we are going to add a vertical gallery and let's connect this to materials. To loan any material, we need two things, the list of available materials and also the list of students so we can select the student who wants to loan it. For that, let's add a drop down so we can see the list of our students. And then finally, we need a button to process our loan request. First, let's write a formula for the template fill of the gallery so that whenever we select any item from the gallery, we know which item we are selecting. Then on the onSelect property of the button, I'm going to set a variable which will basically store the information of the material that is selected in the gallery. Now when we test this, when I click on this button, it will show the item that I've selected and its availability. Then further I'm going to write another formula on the onSelect property saying if where selected item is available, where selected material is available, then patch. But before that, I just remembered we don't have a separate list created to basically maintain the loan request. So before moving forward, let's head back to SharePoint and create this list. In this list, we will need loan date column, which will basically keep a track of the date when the loan was taken. Then we need student column, which is going to be a lookup column so that we know which student took the material. And then we will also need a material column to keep a track of all the materials they took. And then finally, we will also have a return date so that we can have a complete end-to-end cycle when the loan was taken and when it was returned. Now let's go back to our Power Apps and add this list to the app. Coming back to our formula, now we are going to patch to this loan list that we just created, and we are going to add details of the student who is asking for the loan, the material they need, and in the loan date, we will write today's date. Since student and material is a lookup column, we need to specify ID and value both for us to patch that record. Now let's test this formula. We'll select Noah as student and building blocks for materials. With this, we were able to add this loan request. But if you notice, this material is still showing as available. So we need to fix this. We also need to patch to the materials list. And for this particular material, which is building blocks in this instance, we need to mark it as not available. Now here if you want you can keep availability column as single line of text, or also you can make this column as choice and the choices will be yes or no. Either way both are okay, it's your call. But if you do decide to make this column as choice column, you need to patch it in a different way. Also, wherever you have written availability, it's going to be dot value because it's a choice option. And in the patch, you need to add it in the curly braces. Now let's test this one more time. Before that, I'm going to delete the record that we already have in the backend and let's start fresh. Again, I've selected Nova and building blocks, and now if you notice the availability is no. Let's go back in the backend to double check what we have done is correct. Now that our loan functionality is working, let's work on the return functionality. Once the material has been loaned to a student, you also need a functionality to return that material. For this, I'm adding new screen, and on this new screen, I'll add a vertical gallery which will display the information of all the loans. Again, we'll need a button to process the return request. And similarly on this gallery as well, I'm going to add the formula for template fill. Again, on this button, we are going to add a very similar formula. We are going to set a variable to get the details of the current loan for the student that I've selected in this new gallery that I've created. Also, in your formula, you are going to include material as well, the material that is selected in the gallery. Reason being, your student can loan multiple items, and if they have loaned multiple items, it's not necessary they are returning all the items all at once, right? So, we need to be able to return the item that they are here for. And finally, once you have the record for loans, you are going to update the return date to today. Also, don't forget once a student returns any item, that particular material is available now. So you also need to update your materials list where the availability of this particular material needs to be yes. Now let's test our formula. We are going to return this building blocks by Noah. So in the SharePoint for return date, you can see today's date is updated and the material is again available. Now that we have completed the basic functionality of the app, I'm going to show you the final look of my app. This is the final look. I've created a mobile version. You can see the available materials at the bottom. At the top, you can select the student name, let's say Olivia for example, and you can select material here. Once you click clone material, you can see that material is gone from the gallery below. And in the return screen, you can see that now Olivia has an active loan here. If we want, we can select the material again and return it. Now let's try this again, but this time I'm going to select multiple materials. So if a student wants to take more than one materials, they can. And when returning those materials, it's up to the student if they want to return one material at a time or both the materials. Either way, we have handled that scenario. And that's it. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you want me to solve your problem, you can reach out to me. All the links are in the description, and I'll see you next time.